Ittoqqortoormiit is the place in Greenland with the most conflicts between human and polar bears. The polar bears has always come into settlements in the Arctic, but the problem has just escalated here in the last 10 years. This year we had two really serious incidents right here in Ittoqqortoormiit. In the Arctic we feel the climate change a double rate than average in the whole world. So we really feel it, we can see it every year. The climate change means receding sea ice. Receding sea ice means the polar bear comes closer to shore. When they come closer to shore, they can smell the waste dumps, they can smell dog food. They're kind of curious. So now, because they're closer to shore, they come much more often into the settlements in Greenland. Ittoqqortoormiit is the most remote settlement, I guess, in the world. There's about 370 inhabitants. There only come ships 2 times a year. You can't find anything in the shop all year round, so it's a very, very remote settlement. The Arctic has a lot of important populations of birds and mammals. We have birds coming from the South Pole, we have all the marine mammals, the walrus, polar bears. A lot of important species up here when you look at it globally. Polar bears are very, very dependent on hunting seals. They have to have this very fat food. They can't catch seal in the open water, they have to have ice. Without any sea ice, no polar bears at all.
My name is Erling Madsen. I'm born here and I have been hunting controller in this village for the last 10 years. Since 15 years ago, we hunted in the ice, frozen ice, with our dog sticks. You can't do it anymore. And the seal disappear without big ice. It's very difficult, a very big problem for many hunters. Because you understand our culture, our tradition to hunting in many years.
We are releasing weather balloons where we're measuring how our temperature is and the height and the wind speed and the wind direction. 4 years ago we could travel on the ice on the fjord and so on, but not this year. We still have to sail around. The last 2 years the ice have also broken up in the spring a lot earlier. February have been 10.5 degrees warmer than normal, so there's lots of difference. I'm worried about what they're having with the climate and so on, because it's actually get dangerous other places in the world, but the Greenlandic people, they always do what the nature says, so it's a normal part of the life up here. You have a very beautiful and spectacular nature here, but it don't make space for failures.
We have some problem with the invasive polar bear. World Wildlife Foundation come over here for 2-3 years ago and meeting with the local people, and I have to make some patrol to scare the polar bear away from this village. We're starting our patrol every morning, 6 o'clock, from Monday to Friday, before the local people beginning to wake up to go into job, especially the school children. Every time I'm driving over there, over to the dump, I stop at my snowmobile to listen to the dog. Because normally the dog warning us with the polar bear. If we see some polar bear near the village, I contact the leader of the school and say there's polar bear in this village, so take care.
I think the patrol is very important for all of us here, especially because the kids go to school in the morning. Polar bears can make long distance very quick. 2 years ago, my kids want to go to school early because they want to play in the snow, and they went down to the school. Then suddenly I can see a man with a gun going through next to my house. I was like, is there a polar bear? And it's only about 200 meters away from our house. You have in your back heads there can be a polar bear nearby, somewhere. If they can come near around here, around the houses, you have the risk of the polar bears here.
Patrol every morning is very important, because sometimes the polar bear already go inside the village. They can attack. Everyone knows it. Very scary. I have to be very respectful for the polar bear.
Part of the reason why I'm over here is to test new gear. One of the new things is this signal gun with those cartridges here and a very loud sound effect. We hope we can scare more polar bears away with this one. Another new thing this year is the thermal camera. We can see polar bears at least 100 meters, maybe 200 meters away with this one. In these 3 years, we have scared more than 75 polar bears away. Most of those polar bears would probably have been killed. The general feeling here is that we are protecting the children here in Ittoqqortoormiit, so they can see we're helping the polar bears and we're helping the public here in Ittoqqortoormiit. It is just a quick fix. The big issue is the climate change, and we have to fight that. Climate change is the most important reason for polar bear decline. At the rate the temperature is increasing right now, the predictions are that 1/3 of the polar bears will be dead in 2050. We are hoping that we can really take hand of the climate change, and we're working worldwide to influence politicians to take the hard, expensive choices to stop climate change.